I never believed in ghost stories, not really. They were just tales whispered to frighten children into obedience. But everything changed when I spent a few nights in a small Malaysian town where people lowered their voices the moment the word Pontianak slipped into conversation. The locals said she appeared on moonlit nights, her presence carried by the faint fragrance of Frangipani flowers. At first, it sounds beautiful, almost comforting. But then they warned me, when that scent lingers too long, when the sweetness thickens in the air, it means she is already close. On my last night there, I was walking back along a narrow path lined with trees. The air was still, almost too still, and then I smelled it. The sharp, sweet perfume of Frangipani, as if the flowers had been pressed right under my nose. I stopped. The path behind me was empty. Ahead of me, the shadows seemed to sway, though the branches did not move. My heart pounded, but my legs refused to carry me forward. That's when I heard it, a faint laugh, high-pitched, soft, but wrong. It wasn't the laugh of someone happy, it was brittle, hollow, as if echoing from somewhere between this world and the next. I forced myself to breathe, slow and shallow, hoping the sound of my own heartbeat wouldn't betray me. The laughter faded, replaced by silence so heavy it pressed against my ears. Then came the sound, fingernails dragging lightly across tree bark. Scratch, pause, scratch. It moved closer, circling me, though I saw nothing. My instincts screamed to run, but my body was locked in place. The scent of Frangipani grew unbearable, cloying, almost suffocating, and then I saw her. At first, only her hair long, black strands swaying in the breeze that didn't exist. Then her pale face emerged from the shadows, eyes dark as obsidian, wide and unblinking. She stood impossibly still, her white gown barely brushing the ground. Her gaze pierced straight through me, as though she wasn't looking at me, but into me. And when she smiled, the world seemed to twist. It wasn't joy, it was hunger. Suddenly, a chill swept over me. The trees shuddered. A whisper brushed past my ear, though her lips never moved. You shouldn't have come here. I stumbled back, my legs finally remembering how to move. But no matter which way I turned, the shadows seemed to shift, her figure appearing and disappearing as if the darkness itself belonged to her. I realized then what the locals meant when they said, "The Pontianak does not follow you, she surrounds you." The jungle seemed alive, breathing with me, mocking every ragged inhale. I forced my legs to move faster, stumbling over twisted roots and thick undergrowth. Every branch that snapped beneath my feet echoed like thunder in the night, announcing my desperate flight. But no matter how far I ran, the sound of her presence lingered. That awful mix of soft laughter and nails scraping against bark wove itself into the wind, making it impossible to tell if she was behind me, beside me, or already ahead. I clutched the flashlight tighter, its beam cutting through the darkness in frantic arcs. But the jungle swallowed light like water into sand. Each time the beam caught the edge of something pale, I froze, heart slamming against my ribs. Was it her gown? Or just the moonlight playing tricks? The villagers had warned me. Never look back. They said the Pontianak thrived on fear, and to meet her eyes was to invite her into your soul. Yet every instinct screamed to check, to make sure she wasn't right there. And then I broke the rule. I turned. She was inches away. Her face twisted, no longer serene but monstrous, mouth opening far too wide, revealing rows of teeth sharp as broken glass. Her screams split the air, not loud, but piercing, like it came from inside my own skull. I dropped the flashlight, its weak glow rolling across the ground, leaving me in near darkness. My body acted before thought could catch up. I ran. Faster than I ever had in my life, the jungle tearing at my skin, branches whipping across my face. Somewhere deep inside, reason told me, there is no outrunning her. Yet something strange happened. The Frangipani scent grew weaker. The laughter began to fade, the silence returned. My legs carried me blindly until I burst into a clearing, collapsing onto damp earth beneath the faint shimmer of moonlight. For a moment, I thought I was safe. My chest heaved, sweat soaking through my clothes. I dared to believe I had escaped. But then, on the edge of the clearing, I saw them. Dozens of flowers, white frangipani blossoms fresh, scattered across the ground in a perfect circle around me. And from within the tree line, a whisper floated, soft but unmistakable. "You can't leave." The circle of frangipani blossoms glowed eerily in the moonlight, their perfume thick and cloying, wrapping around me like invisible chains. My chest tightened with each breath. The whispers that slid through the trees had no direction, no source, just a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "You can't leave." I spun around, eyes darting between the shadows. Every rustle of leaves sounded like footsteps, every flicker of movement like a pale gown slipping just out of sight. My mind screamed to run, but my legs wouldn't obey. It felt as though the very air had hardened, keeping me trapped within the circle. That was when I remembered the stories, the fragments of folklore shared in hushed tones. Some villagers claimed the Pontianak's power was strongest near frangipani trees, that her blossoms marked her domain. Others said she could be repelled if confronted with courage, if one dared to face her without fear. But what did courage mean when terror hollowed out your chest? I closed my eyes, forcing myself to inhale slowly despite the suffocating sweetness in the air. The forest was utterly still, as if it held its breath, and then I heard it. The faintest sound of crying, soft and broken, drifting toward me. The cry wasn't monstrous, it was mournful. I opened my eyes, and there she stood, the Pontianak. Her figure was clearer now than ever, long black hair cascading over her shoulders, her pale gown tattered at the edges. Her face was strikingly human, so human it unsettled me. Beautiful yet hollow, her eyes reflecting both sorrow and rage. She didn't rush at me. She didn't scream. She simply stared, and her tears shimmered like silver in the moonlight. Something shifted inside me. For the first time, I felt not just fear but pity. This creature wasn't just a monster, she was a spirit bound to grief, chained by unfinished pain. Perhaps that was why the villagers never truly defeated her. Perhaps you can't kill sorrow. Gathering what little strength I had left, I whispered, "I see you." Her crying stopped instantly. The silence was unbearable. Then, slowly, she tilted her head, her expression unreadable. For a heartbeat, I thought she might relent, vanish back into the trees, leaving me alive but haunted forever. But the jungle has no mercy. Her mouth opened again, stretching wider and wider until it was no longer human. The air around me turned icy, and I realized the blossoms were beginning to close in, inching toward me as if dragged by invisible hands. I stumbled backward, desperate, searching for any break in the circle. My foot struck something metallic, the fallen flashlight. With trembling hands, I snatched it up and flicked the switch. Against all odds, it sputtered back to life, casting a harsh beam directly onto her face. She recoiled with a screech that made the earth tremble. The blossoms quivered, their advance halting. For the first time, she looked uncertain, her shadow shrinking from the light. I didn't think. I simply ran, forcing myself through the narrow gap between two flowers before they sealed shut again. Branches tore at me, mud pulled at my shoes, but I didn't stop. I ran until my lungs burned, until the scent of frangipani was gone, until the first hint of dawn began to paint the sky in pale gold. When I finally collapsed on the village's edge, the elders found me, shaking and pale. They said nothing, only exchanged knowing glances. They didn't ask what I had seen because they already knew. Even now, safe in the daylight, I can still smell the blossoms sometimes, faint and fleeting. A reminder, a warning, she is still out there, waiting in the shadows of the trees. And maybe, just maybe, the next time, she won't let me go. If this story kept you on edge, imagine the other legends lurking in the dark, waiting to be told. Subscribe to Twinkling, hit like, and share this tale with someone who loves mysteries. Because the more we explore these legends together, the closer we come to uncovering truth behind the shadows. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.